If you ask us for what reason did we go into the field to make crop circles, and to be entirely honest, I think initially because there's a bit of a buzz. I think we wanted to see whether we could make them and whether people would see them as the authentic article. And then we felt over time that quite possibly something else was involved. And what that something else is, we don't really know, but we'll say that there's something, there seems to be some kind of intelligent response to what we're doing and some intelligent interaction. And that's what has really interested us.
I think the real motivation to go to so much effort is the idea of being able to do something for somebody you don't know, that you've never met, and you maybe even never likely to meet. Something that hopefully will be positive in their life, will help them, maybe heal them, take them onto a new level, help them meditate, just give them a calm moment away from everything. Just to do something positive, completely selflessly, for someone else, is just the most wonderful gift in the world.
It's given me the opportunity to interact with and experience something I can only describe as being supernatural or paranormal, which at the best of times is very exciting and exhilarating, but the worst of times is quite unnerving and even frightening.
We think there's something else is happening, and I think it's something, so even the man-made formations, they seem to carry something with them sometimes, not always, but sometimes there's something spiritual, I think, happening there. And during circle making we've also had experiences. Once we were in a field and we'd actually completed the formation, and so we'd been out for, it was only 2 or 3 hours, and we were coming back. The other member of our team then said something to me, and I turned round and he looked really, really afraid, and he said he saw 2 very tall figures following us out of the field. He's very big, he's very strong, he does weight training, and he was talking about very high figures. I think he said 14 feet. We're talking just very, very tall. I mean, people tend to talk about ETs as these little things, but so this was obviously not that kind of experience. Now, in the same field, a year later, when we were making a formation, I was standing holding the pole, my brother was scribing a circle, and there were these bright flashes, really intensely bright flashes of light, but gentle. It was the whole field lit up, but there was a, when I think back, there was a gentleness to it. And also, when I think back, I feel certain that we felt energized. Or I know I felt energized with each flash of that light. It was as if something was energizing the circle. And what happened after that was really bizarre. My partner became incredibly confused. And he just seemed to have lost all perspective. And he just became almost kind of zombified. And it was a very unusual, and I became very concerned for him initially, because it was just like he was in a trance. Now, he does remember that, but significantly, or interestingly enough, he doesn't remember the flashes of light. And I know, so I'm talking about the whole field lighting up. I'm talking about, obviously, intense flashes of light. And so I find it, again, this kind of strange feeling of isolation. Well, hang on a minute, so I can remember this, but you don't. He can remember some of it. And so it's a kind of strange, it's a strange phenomenon. One I can't really explain, actually.
I have seen balls of light. I've seen them while I've been making crop circles, and also while I've just been staying out overnight in the area. There's something that's almost taken for granted by a lot of the people around here. Once you start spending time around here, you can't help but understand that they're here, you know, they're in the area, you know. I'd really like to find out where this consciousness comes from.
I've had probably half a dozen sightings. Some of them have been photographic, mostly they've not been, mostly they've been whilst I've been constructing a circle. And as a consequence of that, they've been witnessed by numbers of people, including on 2 occasions journalists. And these are mainly flashes of light, a ball of light and a column of light as well, recently, that we were witnessed. And they've inspired me to go on and do other things as well, so I've also made another series of artworks based on those experiences. Absolutely, bizarre coincidences happen all of the time. I can remember my early circle making days in the early 90s when I made a formation, and overnight another circle was added to it, which was actually on the diagram that I had with me, but we'd decided not to put that circle on the formation. I came back the next morning and the circle was there. I didn't know what to make of that at the time, and I guess I still don't really.
I've seen black figures in the crop circles, shadowy sort of figures that at night you mistake for other team members, because in the distance, you know, you can see some sort of black figure moving around and you assume it's a team member. And I have actually walked up and seen these figures just disappear in front of me. And friends of mine have had this also. Other occasions when we've been making circles, I've seen balls of light, and these balls of light on one occasion entered a field and chased us out, stopped us making a circle. And I now believe that we weren't supposed to make that circle in that field on that night. And that's what these balls of light that entered the field were there to do, was to try and sort of alert us and frighten us off.
There's a very real possibility that circle makers might be responding to a call of sorts, or an invitation from the unknown to go out into the fields and to create crop circles. It's something that I believe I've experienced. And I can remember lying on bed at home, coming home late one night after work and exhausted, lying on the bed with the window open during a lovely summer evening. And there was just a magical feeling, and it felt like it was coming through the windows and the scent of the air, whatever. And it was like a call of the wild, just to go back, to go out into nature. And then for me, it was a call to make crop circles. And that night, I just contacted my partner, and we went out and made a formation.
We usually say an oration. This has come from years of making circles now, and believing that we're taking part in something, you know, more than just coincidence, that we are actually picking up on messages and going out and making circles. So because of this, we've incorporated a framework, like a spiritual framework to making the circles, which involves us saying an invocation. And this invocation is kind of, it's asking for the spirits to come to the circle, to give it energy, to protect us whilst we make the circle, and also for the spirits to guide us, to give us the idea of what they want put into the circle, and also that the circle be for good, that people have positive experiences from it. And sometimes we ask as well if we can have our own paranormal experiences.
I think the overwhelming feeling that crop circles ended up giving me was a sense of interconnectedness between all the different elements. So, like in my life and in everybody else's life, everything around us. It gave the sense that actions or thoughts that we might have might bear some relevance to something that doesn't at first seem like it's connected, but connections were made from seemingly unassociated things, people over vast distances and over time, and with events that were happening around the world, and people in fields right next to each other without knowing each other were there, making circles in the same place, you know. and people making the same circle in different places at similar time frames, and it all gave the increasing idea that all gaps and divides were like illusionary, that everybody and everything was connected in some way or shape, you know.
There's just a huge area here which we don't understand, and we know we're interacting with something. We don't know how much we're being used or manipulated by this something. Where this something is entirely benign, I don't know.
But there's definitely something in the fact that these places are magic. Coincidences happen more in these areas. They're much more prevalent, much stronger, much more life-changing almost. Well, no, they are life-changing. They fundamentally change the way that people view things, and this seems more than just a coincidence. This is synchronous. This is greater. This is almost divine, and there seems to be a consciousness, a motivating consciousness behind this that seems to be driving things forward, driving us to some eventual conclusion. What that eventual conclusion is, I don't know. Maybe it's that everything is interconnected. Maybe that we're not separate entities. Maybe on some level we're all part of the same thing, you know. And well, what a wonderful message for a consciousness to put forward to us. You know, what greater message is there? Maybe it's the greatest lesson that we have to learn in this very troubled time.